Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather and I am glad you're here today because it is time for another episode of the RGG Book Club where I take a look at a running or running related book. I tell you a little bit about what it's about and give you my thoughts on it and give you an opportunity to check it out for yourself. First of all, I'd like to apologize for all the extra noise in the background that you may hear. They are doing a little bit of construction outside of my house today and I still have to record a video, so I'm sorry that there's this extra noise in the background. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But second of all, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of the rest of this series where I check out different running books or any of the other great running content that I have coming out on this channel all the time. You can even hit the bell and you'll be notified every time that I upload. It doesn't cost you a thing and we would love to have you here. But now let's take a look at today's selection. Today's book is The Lost Art of Running by Shane Benzie with Tim Major, and this is an absolutely fascinating book. This is one that was recommended to me by several of you who are regular viewers on the channel and said that I might enjoy reading this, and I absolutely did. It is, like I said, it's just fascinating. This book is part narrative and part practical information so that you can use this to help improve your running as well. The story starts with Shane starting out trying to keep up with runners in Ethiopia and failing miserably, and just noticing how they have this natural ability to run and that their stance, the way they use their body, everything is just so drastically different from different things that he's seen before. And from there, he traveled to all different parts of the globe, studying runners, talking to ultra runners, talking to people who have lost the ability to walk and then regained their ability to run. It's just looking at every single little part of what makes up our running form. He noticed that people across the world, if running and walking is your only method of conveyance, then you tend to approach it a little bit differently, that your stance is different, your overall form is different because this is the only way that you have to move around, and that a lot of the habits that we have developed here in the Western world can be detrimental to our overall form because we tend to default to a bad form because that's what we're used to. The book is divided up into three different parts. The first part tells a lot about his travels, about how he studied, about the different conversations he's had, different revelations that he's had along the way, all different people that he's studied under, and his quest in order to get one of the most impossible interviews that he could possibly try to get. In the second part of the book, he breaks down what he has learned into various parts of the running form, looking at things like your head placement, your foot placement, your arm swing, your breath. Every little thing can be improved just a little bit in order to kind of complete the overall running form. And in the third part of the book, he gives you specific things that you need to think about, to adapt, to look at, to correct in order to give yourself a more idealized running form. It's an overall journey around the world in order to kind of discover what is the essence of human movement. Along the way, he meets some fascinating people, from elite runners to amateur ultra runners to people who have taken on some of the most challenging races in the world. Even an ultra runner who lost his ability to walk because of a disease. He tried to regain his ability to walk and finally made himself run a 5K after months and months of work and having to rediscover exactly what it is to move and to have a running form again. This was not a boring read in any way. You might think that the more practical parts of the book would be boring, but no, he backed everything up with a story and how he used it, how he would help correct this part of this runner's form and then what they were able to go on to do. So he gives you actual practical information and he gives you a scenario in which it worked. Moving on to what I felt about the book, like I said, this was a very interesting read. Now, whether you are a technical type reader or a non-technical type reader, whether you're looking for the finer details or not, he does give you those fine details, but then he also breaks it down in a way that's easy for anyone to understand. There were several moments of revelation for me just reading this as well. For example, when he talked about the leg, physiologically speaking, actually ends in the lower part of the back. And so if you don't think about the actual end of the leg in the lower back, then you're not really thinking about moving your entire leg. And that was something that I'd never thought about before. It's something that has definitely changed the way that I think about moving my legs when I run, and it has definitely helped with my cadence, my stride, and things like that just in the short time that I've been practicing working on that since I read it in the book. There were also several stories that I found just really inspiring and really interesting about various races that people had run and how just changing one little thing in their mind, it corrected something in their running form that made them able to do things that they were just not able to do before. There are also several stories in the book about people just doing amazingly just superhuman things with their body and how we can take some of those lessons from them and use that in order to kind of make smaller changes in the everyday runner. So the narrative part of the book was incredibly fascinating. I loved reading about all of these various runners and the various studies that he went through in order to find this information. And I also love the practical side of the book because it showed me how I could take that information from all those experiences that he was having and apply them to my own running form in order to help make some corrections. So overall, I would absolutely recommend this book. And in fact, I'm going to have a link down below to where you can find it on the Amazon store if you would like to check this out for yourself. But this one is a 2 thumbs up from me. Really loved it and would definitely read this again because I know there's probably some information that I didn't absorb the first time, and I know that if I find some sort of problem with my running form, then I can come back to this and most likely find something that I'm overlooking in how I'm running. So have you read this book before, or is this something that sounds interesting to you? Make sure that you let me know down in the comments below. I'm also going to have a link to the rest of the RGG Book Club so that you can take a look at the other books that we have looked at so far. If you have any books that you would like to recommend, make sure that you drop those down in the comments below. This is your second reminder that if you've not hit the subscribe button, make sure that you do, and maybe give this video a big thumbs up so that you can help out the channel and help us find more runners to bring into the Geek Den. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so glad you could be here. Can't wait to see you next time. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. See you later.